What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Dylan.
And I'm Jalen.
What we got today?
Today we got our review of the Fantastic Four, okay?
Yep. Just got out of theater. Not too long ago.
Fresh out?
Just made it home. Before I dig in, I want to kind of give a little bit of a rundown of what I was kind of expecting going into this movie. I'm gonna be honest. From the trailers, I wasn't really getting much anything, to be honest with you.
That is fair.
They was kind of looking a little boring, if I'm being honest, from the trailers.
Yeah.
I stopped watching after trailer 2 or 3 or something like that, and because they tend to spoil after that. But based off of the trailers that I saw, they wasn't really hitting like that for me. I know that before they even released the trailers, I wasn't really feeling the whole 60s futuristic vibe that they was telling us about.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, if I'm being 100% honest, I was kind of going into this not really expecting a whole lot. To be a little boring and just kind of whatever. Also read a couple of articles here and there, and from the things that they were saying, it was kind of seeming like this was gonna be just straight cheeks, like
swampy cheeks is
like
what we were
nothing
expecting.
but a bunch of agenda, fake woke Disney shit, that they be doing.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, I'm actually pleasantly surprised.
Okay.
I'm pleasantly surprised about this. I think I might have enjoyed this better than Superman. Just a tad bit better than Superman. I don't know. What about you?
To be honest, I do feel the same. Like with the trailers, it was a little bit lackluster. Like, I think for me, with the whole like retro futuristic vibe thing, like that was kind of iffy. Because I think it was more so like I'm not used to certain things being
with
like,
the retro vibe.
Yeah, like with the retro vibe, like. More specifically, like the thing.
Oh, how the thing looks?
Yeah, like I'm not used to his original look. Okay, so and I know that's more of a pet, like a nitpick. Like it's not that big of a thing, but at the same time,
I think it was some other people. I think that was kind of mixed when they first showed him.
Yeah, like that's how I felt at first. But would I say I enjoyed it more than Superman? To be honest, I feel like it's kind of about the same for me, because I'm gonna be honest, a lot of these films I'm just going into having low expectations, unfortunately. So like when they outdo
this one,
that, it's
kind of
better.
Exceeded your expectations a little bit. Similar to Superman. Okay. So I think I could probably guess what your grade is gonna be. No, it's all good. It's all good. Kind of diving into this movie a little bit, because this is gonna be a spoiler review. What I really appreciated the most about this movie is the outer space aspect.
Okay,
I think the strongest, that, and then I would say Sue and Reed Richards kind of chemistry or back and forth with having a new baby and whatnot. But I think that one of the strongest parts to me about this movie, which I was not expecting because it doesn't really give you anything about it within the trailers, is that it has a pretty fun section in outer space, like traveling. And I'm no Fantastic Four expert. Now, I like the Fantastic Four. I don't really read their comics like that, but whenever they appear, in a cartoon or, even if it's, another comic that I'm reading and Fantastic Four show up, maybe Hulk and Thing have a battle, or Spider-Man and Human Torch is having a race or something, like that, or T'Challa's hanging out with Reed Richards and they, building something. Like, it's always fun to see the Fantastic Four pop up, right? But one of the things that if I'm understanding this correctly, that I kind of got from what the Fantastic Four was meant to be like, they're explorers. They are the ones that handle, obviously your monsters, but they're scientists. Like, they go out and they kind of like explore realms and pocket dimensions and outer space and things like that. And I got that from this movie. Like, that was a very big part of this movie, and it was the best part, I would say. It had some pretty cool effects. I like what they did actually in this movie better than what they've been doing in a few of the previous Marvel movies in terms of like how they've been doing like light speed and shit like that.
Oh.
Because I don't know if you remember, but like in some of the other movies, the way they've been doing it, it's like a hexagon shape pops up.
Yeah, but this one is like
it's more like a
wavy warp kind of
thing,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And this one feels a little bit more believable. Like the hexagon always to me, it took me out of it too. Like obviously I know it's a comic book movie and none of this is real, but like the hexagon thing, whatever they was doing, effect always kind of it took me out of it. And I wasn't messing with that too much.
Okay.
But the way they do it in here, though, I love the way they do it in here. Certain parts of it almost kind of reminded me. It's different, but it almost kind of reminded me of something that happened in a Star Trek movie. It was I forget which one it was, but it was a scene where they were traveling at light speed, and another ship was traveling at light speed behind them, and it was catching up. And it reminded me of a scene in here where Silver Surfer was chasing them in the light speed warp thing or whatever. I mean, it looked different, but it gave me some of those vibes. And Star Trek, as most of us know, are also like explorers of the universe type thing, right?
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed that. Seeing Galactus in outer space was dope. They had a scene in here where they had showed up at a black hole to kind of,
like
get rid of Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was not expecting this movie to go there with it. And Silver Surfer actually looked cool. It's funny enough, I was thinking like, it looked like she was surfing on the black hole matter or whatever it was, which was cool. I was like, I don't know if they did that on purpose or not. But I'm like, you know what? That's
Probably.
Actually pretty. That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting to really care that much about or like anything about the Silver Surfer like that. But you know what? I thought that was pretty cool. So that's probably like my number one thing about this movie that I really enjoyed seeing. Before I go any further though, what stood out to you the most though? What did you like the most about it?
Okay, oddly enough, even though I said I was kind of on the fence about the whole retro 60s vibe, the way that they did the storyline and stuff, it actually fit with it.
Okay, so you like that.
I actually enjoyed it a lot more than I expected. So I was like, okay,
you know,
I can mess with that.
I think I gotta agree with you. I do gotta agree with you a little bit.
Like it just fits a little bit better. For like the way that they were going, and then also too, I will say that like some of the things that you were saying, like some of the just how Reed and Sue were like, how they were like showing their relationship, like that was kind of sweet. They're like parents or new parents, but they're also scientists and superheroes, and so it's like you get to see a little glimpse of like them balancing that all out, and like that was sweet to me. And also too, like
they had a really cool effect. I can't remember if it was in the first act or maybe it was in like the beginning of the second act, where they showed like her stomach.
Oh yeah, when she was doing her like
a little invisible thing.
Yeah, you can see the baby.
In the stomach.
I thought that was cool
that was
too.
Actually really cool. It was a nice touching moment too. I really liked that.
There was a couple of moments in here that was touching, and that I was like, you know what, that hits the spot a little bit. But a lot of the stuff that you said too, like I kind of agree. Like I do like the space thing. I like that they're showing like the nerdy side too of Reed, and like, he's always caught up, and doing an equation and doing some Einstein kind of,
It's interesting because we've obviously seen movies before take place in space, like the Guardians and Thor a little bit, but this has its own vibe though when it deals with that sort of thing. It feels very much like Neil deGrasse Tyson or something. Like, it feels in that realm of things, and it was nice seeing Reed, use his brains trying to figure out, all these numbers and equations and shit to, figure out how to escape the Silver Surfer or figure out how to make this teleporter work or or even dealing with the newborn baby. You know, like one of the things that Reed struggles with is that he's extremely intelligent and he knows that, but he has a hard time dealing with humanity. Like he has a hard time dealing with being human and things like that. That was nice to see. I do wish that they touched on that like a little bit more, on that kind of dynamic between him, being the smart guy and struggling to
like always being the logical. There's an explanation, but like when there's stuff that there's no answer for, and you can't just figure it out with an equation or like A to B kind of thing. Like some things you kind of have to go with the flow, and you can clearly see that he's not that kind of guy, but certain situations happen, and like we see the new that he's dealing with. I will say also, like from the little bit of the thing, and then I would say as far as how he looked, I actually liked him look like how he looked better with the beard.
Yeah, you liked him with the cradle.
Yeah, with the little. I was like, you know what? That's not bad. That's not bad.
I was okay with it. I was okay with it.
It wasn't the best, but I was like, it's different. It's different. Like it's
I think what might, I don't know if this is true or not, but I was kind of wondering like what might have been the reason why I was okay with it. But I want to say it might be because of how they did his, or designed him. He has that classic thing look. Yeah. And his face is kind of skinnier. For the most part, especially with the way they draw him in modern times, he has he's bigger and bulkier, and his face is bigger and bulkier.
Right. But here it's not. So like the beard it fills him out more.
Now I was okay even without the beard. It's not my preferred look for the thing, but I'm okay with the classic look, and it fits with the whole '60s, thing going on. But I gotta say, I do wish that they gave us more with the thing.
Yeah. I was trying to avoid that because I was gonna save that for later. Same with
if you want to, we can say something negative.
Yeah. I was gonna save that for later, but from the little bit like that, I do like that. I do like some of the funny moments. What do you think about
they had a few funny moments. It wasn't like joke heavy.
Yeah, it wasn't like overbearing. It
actually
timed.
had some nice serious, like at least. Matter of fact, the whole tone for the most part had a nice serious vibe to it, which I also liked. It was a couple minor moments with Johnny that he went for the humor, and but I'll touch on that a little later. but those are minor. How did you feel about the visual effects?
Like overall. Okay, when it comes to like the space stuff and like Sue's power, I liked how they did that. I liked how, I think you hit the nail on the head when you said that was like actually one of the better points in the movies, like with the space, like and visual effects, but also how they did it. But I feel like that's where their strong suits were.
What, visual effects?
Visual effects.
Okay. I think that for the most part it was solid. Yeah. Galactus looked solid.
Yeah. He did.
Outer space stuff looked solid. Most everything else did. I think the only parts where it kind of looked a little wonky at times was a few moments with the baby. Obviously, the CGI baby.
That baby. I don't know why
it wasn't to the point where it took me out of it though. Like it was still better than Twilight.
Yeah, I was gonna say it wasn't as bad as Twilight.
It was still better than that. Like I think this baby over that one.
But that it was a little wonky.
And a couple other minor moments here and there. But for the most part, I would say it was pretty solid. I think Johnny might have looked a little.
There was some.
I think I liked the visual effects with Johnny a little bit better in previous movies, but for the most part, it was cool. The score was also pretty nice. I liked the way they used that in this movie. I figured I was gonna like the score from the trailer though. I liked the whole way they did the fantastic that thing.
Yeah.
So that was pretty nice. And Silver Surfer was okay. And Sue was probably the best character in the movie, I would say. She had a very nice emotional touch to her.
Yeah, I know.
She felt like a mom. She didn't really feel too... Like, it didn't feel like they were trying to push her too much on us as a girl boss.
Yeah.
Although I will say they do make an effort to make her really solid and not so much the other characters. You could maybe argue that there's a little bit of a, agenda with it, but it wasn't that bad. So I'm willing to ignore that. But for the most part, I would say she was pretty solid. She has a moment in the third act where she really shows her power, and she's supposed to be, from what I've heard and kind of learned over the years, she's supposed to be the most powerful member of the team.
Oh, okay.
Right,
which I did not know.
Yeah, she could do some things with her abilities that, it's just crazy. Like, she could put a little force field in your brain or something and explode it or some shit, or make you stop breathing or something, like, shit like that. Like, it's a bunch of things that she can do, and then her force fields are actually supposed to be pretty strong. She's been able to hold off some pretty powerful characters. So, to a certain degree, some of the things that she was doing in the third act makes sense, but at the same time, who she did it to, I kind of have a problem. If I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Let's touch on some of the negatives. While Galactus was cool, I do have to say I think he was a little bit underwhelming in the third act when he finally arrived. Because if you know anything about Galactus, I don't know how much you know about Galactus.
I know a little bit. I mean, just the fact that he's supposed to be this like sentient kind of being or whatever that like
this really powerful cosmic being. He's supposed to be, I think, the oldest character in our universe, or like in the Marvel universe. I mean, obviously you have some other cosmic beings that come before him, but I mean, like, because there's been more than one universe, and the most current universe, he's supposed to be the oldest one because he's from the previous one. They don't go that deep into the character in the movie, but that's just some backstory on him. So he's been here for a long time. He's a very powerful cosmic being. Now his power does kind of go back and forth on how powerful he is, depending on how well fed he is. But either way it goes, he's still a cosmic being. Like, we saw the Celestials and the Eternals, and you know how powerful they are. Like, he's on their level, if not at times a little bit stronger. But he's, roughly on average on their level. And when he comes to the planet, or arrives on a planet, like, he's not really doing much. And when it comes to the Sue moment where she's pushing him back, now literally all she's doing is pushing this man back. And the scene is like, I want to say the scene was like maybe 5 minutes. It felt like. And 5 minutes is not a long time, but in a movie, 5 minutes is a long time.
Yeah.
So all she was doing was pushing this man back, and you telling me he had no other ability to stop her?
I was expecting him.
Which I know he does have.
I was expecting him to be a little bit strong. A lot of bit stronger, actually. I really was. And that's why I was like, I'm surprised, because I also didn't know that Sue could be that strong, like.
I mean, she's strong, but I don't know if she should be that strong.
I was like, okay.
That's why I was kind of torn on the moment, because the moment was a good moment, but unfortunately, because it happened to Galactus, it kind of takes away from that moment if you know Galactus and what he should be able to do. And one other thing that I forgot to say going into this movie was that I felt like we already knew the ending, or at least what I thought the ending was going to be, based off of one, the end credit scene in Thunderbolts, but two, based off of the fact that they have to somehow make it to the main Marvel universe.
Right.
So I went into this movie thinking that Galactus was going to come and he was essentially going to win. He's going to destroy the planet.
Right, but that didn't happen.
And that didn't happen. He gets beat by Sue pushing him away. Right. And then they teleported him somewhere. Now, he almost came back, which, I was hoping, I don't know if this is bad or not, but I was hoping that he came back and actually really destroyed the planet. I don't know if that's a bad thing or not. But when he stuck his hand out, I was like, okay, maybe this is when he starts to turn up.
Right.
But then we have this moment where it looks like Johnny is gonna sacrifice himself, and then right when he's about to do it, so a server comes in and then she sacrifices herself. They just get teleported somewhere else. And I'm like, what the hell you been at?
Yeah, right. Like, you just...
This whole moment, out of the blue, you show up and change your mind, and now you want to, okay. It's like, whatever. I don't know, I felt like that moment was not quite earned. Like, it just kind of happened.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I felt like that was definitely that was a negative of mine. Another negative of mine is Johnny. Well, Johnny and Thing.
Oh.
But more so Johnny. And the negative is that they're underutilized. They're not really... Like, they're okay at times, but they're not really that good in this movie. Especially Johnny when it comes to his character. I don't feel like he's Johnny. I'm sorry. He just doesn't feel like Johnny. I felt like they were trying to make him funny at times or cool at times, but he didn't really come across that way. Like, he has some type of quirky something that he'll say, but it's... I don't know. I didn't laugh. I don't really feel like the audience laughed that much either.
No. I feel like I agree, but I also, to add to that, I will say one of the main things that I kind of didn't like about the movie was that I felt like overall a lot of it was rushed. And I do feel like perhaps some things could have been fixed had it been more time and like more things shown with their characters, because like we already go into the movie like, oh, the Fantastic Four, they've already they're already in, so they're already there. We're just hopping right into it, and then we slowly get the backstory. Oh, they went
very similar to Superman.
Yeah, very very similar. So it's like we're hopping right into these teams and these characters or whatever, and it doesn't give us any time to really fill them out. And like that's kind of how I felt with the Thing too. Like with him, I feel like they were kind of like afterthoughts a little bit.
Afterthoughts. Do you think maybe they cut some things?
Because I feel like some things it just kind of didn't make sense all the way.
I definitely feel like they might have cut some stuff because there was moments in the movie where you could tell they were trying to lean in a little bit with the Thing and him dealing with. It was just one woman that he was going to see a couple times, and it was a moment or two in there where he's looking at her, but you can tell he doesn't want to approach her because he's the Thing,
right? But
it doesn't really show that much of it. He eventually kind of goes to her at one point in the movie. But then it cuts from it because it's short. So it feels like they cut some stuff from the Thing storyline. Now with Johnny, it just feels like they didn't capture him that well at all. But I do agree with you that, the movie could have been longer. This movie, y'all, is even shorter than Superman. Yeah. It's an hour and 55 minutes. You take away credits, it's only an hour and maybe 45 minutes.
Right. Yeah.
And I agree. If they had added at least 10 to 15 more minutes of the movie, we could have gotten a better, more fleshed out, storyline with the Thing. They did it in the original Fantastic Four, and I thought that was perfect in the way they did that. Now, obviously, that was an origin, or at least the first one. It was an origin, so it's dealing with him. He wants to get rid of his abilities, and he doesn't want to be the Thing anymore. He was married at one point, and then his wife, that was crazy, by the way. That shit was sad. His wife left his ring on the ground. I'm like, God dang, your shit's sad. That went into it more. Now, obviously, this being 4 years in, it's not going to touch on some of that, but it could still touch on him having to deal with being a rock man,
right, and not feeling normal, not feeling like he can pursue.
He wants to have a relationship,
right? Like they could have touched on it, and like I do feel like honestly, a lot or the majority of the problems stem from it just being rushed, and them not taking their time to like really.
Well, certain moments. I'll say certain
not
moments.
all, but
there were moments where I
know.
felt like it was paced well, but then I don't know. It's just moments that I feel like it's missing.
Yeah, so
like for example,
it's maybe
like
a pace and then them cutting it. So it's like
the outer space section felt fine to me. I didn't feel like it was rushed. The very beginning of the movie, I thought felt fine in the way they introduced the Fantastic Four and they were showing certain things. It reminded me of the Incredibles actually, which makes sense because the Incredibles reminds me of Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
pretty sure that's what they were inspired by.
Okay.
You know, they had the Mole Man. You know,
which
he popped up in Incredibles, so that was kind of cool to see. I thought that was fine. It's just again, I feel like they left something out. And I don't know why. I'm not really sure why they keep going with these shorter and shorter movies nowadays. I've heard some people say, you know, the audience has low attention spans and, you know, whatever. And I'm like, I'm sure some people do, but like, I mean, if you put out a good movie, a good product, people are gonna be
through it, and they're
like,
gonna
people
watch
will
it.
watch.
Yeah.
I guarantee you. Like, it's not. Avengers Endgame was almost 3 hours, like around 3 hours, or close to 3 hours. People still watched it.
Right.
You know, Infinity War, I think that was at least 2.5 hours. I think. You know, like people watched it. Like, it doesn't need to be 2 hours, right? So I wish that these movies would stop doing that. Like it could work depending on the type of movie. Like I mentioned this in our Superman review, which you know that's out now. Some movies can do well with the 2 hours, but then some movies can't. And when you have a movie like this, it's 4 characters, 5 if you want to include, you know, the baby.
The baby, yeah.
You know, and 6 if you want to include
the robot. No, I'm just
oh yeah. See, I guess. So then 7, I was gonna say Silver Surfer.
Oh, dang.
Like, you want to kind of include some of that, right? Because they kind of they show a brief flashback. With
which even that was kind of like, that was interesting because I don't think I really remember them doing much in the previous with the Silver.
They didn't show any flashback. They did mention it.
Oh, see, it's been a while since I've seen that one. So
so like when you have characters like this and similar to Superman, you have more than just Superman in the movie. You can't quite do a good enough job with the story if it's only 2 hours or less, which this is less.
Yeah,
like including credits, this is less. So it's like that's definitely a negative of mine. I would say those are probably my big negatives. It's Johnny and Thing a little bit. You know how they handle the characters, the runtime. I'll say those.
Yeah, I mean, same here. Because other than that,
I enjoyed the movie.
The other stuff is just nitpicky.
Oh, and
like,
and Galactus towards the third.
Yeah, like it's not like that big of a deal. But overall, like I will say that the story was nice, and surprisingly, again, I liked the 60s retro vibes. I think that it worked well with how they did.
And you know what I'll say about that, because that I kind of briefly mentioned it earlier, but you know, I'm not the biggest fan of when movies take place during past moments, or at least in certain time frames. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of the World War I and World War II time frames. I know Cap did it, and I know Wonder Woman did it. It makes sense for Cap.
But yeah. For
Wonder Woman, I wasn't the biggest fan of that time frame. You know, and Captain Marvel was 80s, and it gets played out as well. Yeah. So I was expecting to kind of be a little bit, I don't know, bored by that aspect of it. But what I will say that I enjoyed about it is, and maybe this is because it's in that time frame and maybe we're different now, but I enjoyed how the Fantastic Four were viewed by the audience, or not audience, by regular people, civilians.
Yeah.
Like they were real fans of these people. Like they felt like real superheroes. And part of the reason why is because of how, you know, the kids looked up to him. And not just the kids, but the adults looked up to him.
Right.
And
You know,
the kids are, you know, just pick up a car.
Right.
And the old guy is saying, it's clobbering time. And they're fans of the cartoon. And, you know, things feel, no pun intended, things feel special. And I feel like some of that is kind of lost in a lot of these movies. Like, they don't feel special. One of the issues that I've had with some of the newer characters that they've put out over these last 5 or 6 years is that they kind of just get abilities or get skills, and then all of a sudden they're the guy or they're the girl. They're Avengers now. They don't earn it, and they don't feel special. And I'm like, the Fantastic Four, they feel special. Now it does kind of obviously glance over the origins and things like that, and it doesn't spend enough time with certain characters. But what helps counter that a little bit is how they're viewed, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is probably something that you only really get that type of feel and with the way that they did it if it was set in that time frame.
I liked how they did the little TV show kind of talk show, because it was like, oh, we have the Fantastic Four, but when they came on
cartoon,
like the cartoony vibes,
like the Jetsons or something.
Yeah, like it was nice, but it was also kind of like the way that they explained it, I guess, when they first came about was like, oh, this was like a phenomenon, like this was something never seen before kind of thing, which goes into what you're saying. They weren't born with their abilities. They were scientists, going out doing a little mission or whatever, came back with special powers, and the world is interested, so it's like, okay, cool. It's cool for them to do it the way that they did it. And now they just pick up a phone, everybody, oh, she can fly, and she's a part of the Avengers now.
Now you can still make certain things in modern day fine, but it's just like
but they're not. There's
something missing that's making it feel special.
Yeah, like it doesn't feel well. Yeah,
and I think this movie has that.
Yeah.
Which I enjoy, and I think part of that is because of the time frame. Now I will say, I just remembered there is another negative. And I don't know if this should be a negative specifically on this movie or not. I think it should, because I think this is where it needed to happen, unless it happens in the Avengers. But there was no connection to Thunderbolts at all, and there was no real connection to or leading up to the Avengers. The only small minor thing, they have 2 post-credits scenes. One's like midway through, and that one shows Doctor Doom. And he's playing with the baby, which, I don't know. I feel like that scene, because I was hearing that there was a couple post-credit scenes, and that one, I heard that it was directed by the Russos, and so I was expecting something like more than that. That was kind of a letdown, if I'm being honest. I don't think that needed to be in the movie.
Honestly, when I seen it, I was just like, why is he playing with this baby? He don't know this baby. Like, what? How did you get in the living room, and why are you looking over that child like that?
But I'm assuming that he knows about the baby.
But it's still just kind of like, whether this is a special baby or not, like, that's weird. That's weird.
Dr. Doom, though, so
that's so weird.
I'm sure he's got some type of motives that make sense. But it was underwhelming, and I felt like that post-credit scene could have been left out, to be honest. The one at the very end, to be honest, you don't really have to wait for it, but at the same time, as a sort of respect value, I would stay, because it's a tribute to Jack Kirby. But if you're not super into these, movie or comics like that, and you don't care that much, and you got somewhere to be, you can leave. You don't really have to stay around for that one. But to me, I would at least stay to see it at least once. Jack Kirby is similar to like Stan Lee. He helped create these characters. He's the one that drew these characters, right? So the look of it is Kirby. So I as a respect thing, I would stay. Well, I mean, this is a spoiler review, so I'm telling you what it is. So, but I don't know. I stayed though. Yeah, it doesn't really. It didn't connect to the Thunderbolts at all. So that scene, I don't really know.
Yeah,
guess that's
like
going to be Avengers, maybe.
Maybe, but it just seems right now it feels misleading. We don't know how that's gonna do any. Like, we don't know.
Okay? Yeah, I don't know. I think I kind of really think I prefer if the ending happened in a way similar to what I was expecting. I think it would have been better if Galactus won, because what I was thinking was Galactus was gonna win and destroy the planet, but somehow Reed or the baby was gonna do something or come up with something that was gonna make them or let them enter the main universe. But that didn't happen, so now it's kind of like it's just up in the air. Like, are y'all gonna do this in the Avengers movie? So now you have to spend time in the Avengers movie to show how they get here.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know. That's
because I don't know what other movie is supposed to be like.
Yeah, like what?
We don't know.
I think Spider-Man comes out before the Avengers movie, but like that, why would
the Fantastic Four be when Spider-Man? And if that do happen, that's a weird mashup.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with. In the Spider-Man movie, but I'm just saying but it wouldn't make sense for them to.
It's a weird
explain
mashup.
how they get in this universe.
It'll be a weird mashup for me. I don't know.
That's kind of weird. I don't know. I feel like Marvel still hasn't quite got back to what they used to be doing when it comes to teasing an upcoming project or an upcoming Avengers movie. Like, I feel like a lot of the end credit scenes of the last 10 Marvel movies has been lame, just whack, or just not good teases, or not worth.
I say this all the time, but they just feel like bloopers to me. Like, they just feel like some stuff that they filmed and it was like, maybe we could use it or not. I don't know.
You know what would have been cool? How I would. Now I don't know what the plot's gonna be of the next Avengers movie, but how I would have done it if I was them, and and using Doctor Doom, I would have had it where Doctor Doom showed up. Right now, it showed her walking, around the table, whatever that was, and it shows Doctor Doom. He's playing with the baby, and then he picks the baby up and turns around. It actually shows Doctor Doom, his mask and everything. And then he disappears or something, or teleports somewhere. And it ends like that. It's like, damn, they took the baby. Now that might have been a little bit. I think I might have enjoyed maybe something like that a little bit better, because then it kind of provides a reason for them to leave
and go into the main universe. Because their baby is missing by some strange masked man.
And now we know that they have a reason to.
Yeah,
join the
Avengers. I see what you're saying.
Doctor Doom has the baby for whatever nefarious reason he's gonna have the baby for. Now I could go and say that I would have liked if they had more Doctor Doom teasers in this movie.
I don't think it's necessary.
But I wasn't going in expecting it, so I'm okay with that. Because they did kind of have a couple references, like they showed Latveria a couple times, or they mentioned Latveria. That's his nation that he rules.
Oh, I was wondering why it was empty and where that was, because I was like, I'm not familiar with that.
That's his.
Where is that on the map?
Yeah. So yeah, I would say I guess that's 4. I guess similar to Superman. Those are my 4 main issues. But the difference is here, I enjoyed this better, I think. Slightly better than Superman. I think that I got a better story. Yeah, I got a better story. I really enjoyed the outer space aspect. I felt the stakes. I did feel like there were stakes in this movie. More stakes than the Earth splitting apart in Superman.
Yeah.
It was a little bit underwhelming when Galactus finally showed up, but it wasn't it didn't completely take me out of the movie or anything like that. But overall, I really felt the stakes. The story was good. I liked how Reed and Sue were dealing with the baby and things like that. And I think I'm gonna give this movie a 4 out of 5.
Oh.
Yeah. A fantastic fun.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there.
Like, well, yeah. I had to throw that in somewhere.
Trying to be a little sneaky. Yeah.
But yeah, I'll give it a 4 out of 5. Overall, I enjoyed it, but I got to take away a point for certain things.
I enjoyed it as well. To be honest, I feel like for me it's probably about the same as Superman, just because, again, I went in with low expectations. So
You gave it what?
Like I think it was like a 3.5 that I gave, so I'm gonna give it a 3.5.
Yeah. I was
it's
feeling
not
that.
a bad movie.
No, 3.5
I would still go see it again.
It's still
solid.
A solid. That's probably
it's
like
still
a
pretty
B,
solid.
somewhere around.
It's
B.
passing. It's passing.
Yeah, it's definitely more than above average.
Yeah.
I would say, not perfect, not great,
but it's still more solid than expected, and that's what matters. Because I can work with that. Mm-hmm. I can work with a solid film.
Yeah. Well, that's what we think, y'all. Y'all let us know what y'all think down in the comments down below, and let us know if you loved it, liked it, hated it, or felt nothing. Chalk it up, debate. Till next time, y'all.
Peace out.